Stop being nice, everybody. This is Alessandro. Welcome back to my channel. For the last couple of weeks, 3 to 4 weeks actually, I was going through my feed, LinkedIn, Facebook, and once in a while, I see people posting their animation, right? Their work in progress. They're looking for feedback, maybe even when they're doing polish and stuff like that. And so one of the things I noticed, I was looking at those animation, and without rephrasing it, guys, without being too nice, they were looking bad, right? So the body overall felt like kind of very stiff, almost like T poses. I went through the animation frame by frame, and there was not a single poses that looked genuine. I'm not even saying exceptional, I'm talking about good or decent, right? The mechanics, they were off, like the way the character was doing a kick, or it was jumping, that was very severely unbalanced, right? And so on top of that, every time that the character moved with the pelvis, the acceleration was always kind of weird, like very slow, the snap, slow again, snap again. Like you could feel like that the person or either didn't even open the graph editor to check that, or he has no clue how to handle all those things, not even with a simple object, right? And so, nothing to be ashamed of it, by the way, because we all been there, right? I have been there when I was starting animation, so it's not a shameful things or anything. That's not what I want to talk about it today. But I was going through, I saw those animation, and yes, normally in a case like that, me personally, even if they ask for feedback, I do not personally leave any feedback, because my only feedback would be, hey guys, you try to do something too advanced, you just need to go back to the very basic bounce symbol or whatever, and you're doing something too advanced. But obviously I don't want to give that to a person, to a total stranger that I don't know, because I can understand that without giving this, without a proper explanation, it can be very frustrating, very demotivating, could be completely out of context. So, I wouldn't do that, honestly, right? But the things that for me was very damaging is that I could see, I scroll to the comment, and there were people say, yes, it's a good attempt, try to solve this, try to make it more balanced, adjust a little bit more the pose here. And I understand people have this with good heart, with good intention, because I was doing exactly the same at Animation Mentor, right? So I understand that we want to motivate, we want to push, we want to help people to get better, but very realistically speaking, and I talk for experience, sometimes this can be deceiving. Because the person who was reading the comments says, oh, thank you very much for the feedback, I'm going to improve this and that. And so what they're thinking in their mind is like, okay, they look at my animation, they told me that I need to adjust the balance a little bit here, improve this pose a little bit here, be careful about the spacing. You know what? The comment doesn't seem too bad. It seems like I must be doing pretty well. For the comment, they're all body positive, they tell me to keep going, keep moving forward. And that's where, for me personally, because I'm talking for personal feelings here, is a huge mistake. Because that person now is thinking about it, okay, it's not the perfect animation ever, but it's okay to move forward. When the reality is, you should not move forward at all. Because if you're making those mistakes where you can't even pose one single frame well, you're not able to handle the spacing, it's way too soon to do a full body character. Forget about full body character, I wouldn't even ask you to do a lower body, just legs, to animate something like that, because it's obvious that you're lacking the basic fundamental, guys. And for you guys to give this fake, I call it fake positivity, because for me, in that case, there is nothing to be positive. And as an artist, I'd rather have the harsh truth, right? And so for me, this one doesn't help. And the reason why I'm saying this one, guys, because when I teach animation, and some schools are the same, I can't talk for every school, but one of the things they teach you to do is to pose a character in an appealing way, right? Forget about animation. If you can even pose, take the rig and make like 10, 15 poses that looks beautiful and they look appealing. Forget about animating. Animating would make no sense, because obviously you don't know how to use the rig properly. You don't know how to pose the character. You have zero sense of composition and appealing. You have zero sense of staging. That's the first things you need to do, right? When you pose, when you do an animation, what is the first things you do? You take a character, frame 0, frame 1, and you pose it. And if that pose looks terrible, that means you need to go back and forget about animation and thinking about those posing, right? And that's the reality. When it comes spacing, you see, when you see your character like going really fast and slow down and fast and looks all jittery like this, well, then it means you have no idea how to handle motion in a 3D software. You have no idea how key, space, and timing works, and you probably don't even know how the graph editor is working if you produce a result like this. So that means you need to go back and study the bouncing ball. Forget about body mechanics. And so that's what I'm saying, guys. Having this kind of fake positivity, like I don't think it's beneficial, because it happens to me at some point. Even I remember when I had some student coming with me and says, Alessandro, I was, they show me their demo reel, and when people come with me for a review or consulting, I am very brutally honest. So I have no problem to tell people, hey, it's a good attempt. I know you try. We've all been trying that, but you need to go back to the very basic. I have no issue to tell them that. And sometimes I ask them, ask them, hey, do you have a mentorship? And then sometimes they tell me, oh, no, I do it, I'm learning by myself. Or yes, I have school, but my mentor doesn't help me much, so I share those things online. And people give me feedback. And I was like, hey, did anybody give you the feedback that I'm giving you, that nothing is working here? No, they only tell me here and there. So I was thinking it wasn't too bad. And then I was like, yes, it is bad because of this, and this. And after I pointed out 20 mistakes, I was like, damn, I see it. And I do understand that this is a tough situation for both ways, right? For us, when we see something and we want to help, right? But at the same time, your help can be very, can be hurtful, right? Not hurtful that you're hurting the people's feelings, but you're not guiding them, you're not telling them what they need to do, right? So I think it could be here two options. So first of all, if you're watching someone else's animation and you're not even that qualified, so you don't have the eyes to tell that person is doing well or not, then in some cases maybe you should not talk. Because again, if you're the only one giving feedback and that person might feel like about it, hey, this is not too bad, in my opinion, I would not do it. And if you have a person with experience and you can see that this is clearly very, very bad, there are two options here, guys. Or if you don't want to be involved, you better, sometimes, most of the time I do this, I don't say anything, because again, it's a person just asking help to random people over the internet, which in my opinion is not the right idea, by the way. So like, yeah, better not say anything, right? And at least better than lying, because come on, me and you, we know you are lying to the person, right? And maybe until the person figures out by himself, or is go to look to seek for proper help. Or else, if you have to speak and say something, and you need to be very careful again, because that person probably is a stranger, doesn't know you might hurt his feelings very quickly. So if you really want to say something, you need to be very careful and say, I think I done it a few times, and luckily they respond quite well. But I said, hey, you're trying to tackle something that's way beyond your level here. My suggestion here, you need to go back to study the bouncing ball, you need to go back and practice poses. Sometimes I try to do a little bit more and give them maybe the link, or some of my tutorials are all free and they can learn for free, right? But again, in this case, I always act a little bit of cautious, put some context, so right, the person doesn't feel too hurtful. Again, doing something like this takes a lot of time, so I can understand if people don't want to do it. But yeah, my opinion, guys, just going like this fake positivity, it doesn't really help. It only makes cloud the judgment of the student or the person who's trying to do an animation, or who's thinking he's not doing that bad when actually he's doing very bad. And for the person who actually is looking for help, I talked this before, guys. My suggestion is, especially when you try to self-improve, is not to go and ask for random people help over the internet. First of all, because, okay, if you're doing quite well already, your animation is quite good, yes, they will help you, they will be very happy to participate in your success. But if you're not doing well, asking to random stranger is not gonna do anything. Because if you are lacking severe problematic, first of all, if they say something, most of the time they won't tell you. And even if they say something, oh, adjust the balance here, adjust the poses, it's not gonna solve your shot. It's not gonna teach you animation. Because when I see those things, and I can see, I don't see huge problems. I think I see something that needs to be scrapped and totally redone and go back to the step forward, right? That's what I see. And there is nothing I can tell you that's gonna magically make improve that animation and bring it to a decent level. Unless I started to go frame by frame and draw over for you. But guess what? That's not gonna help, because the way I see your animation, you struggle even to pose the character, and it's obviously, it's a big problem. Okay, guys? So in that cases, for me, if you feel like you're stuck, you're not improving, rather than going to ask help for a random person like this over the internet, if you want to go to a school, or else find a professional, someone who's been studying animation for 8-10 years at least. Ask them a proper private feedback consulting about your demo reel, and discuss with them the situation of what you should do next, right? Because again, this kind of approach, again, if you're doing you're already kind of succeeding, they will help you, or else, for what I'm observing, it doesn't really, and sometimes can also drive you to the wrong path. All right, this is of course just my personal opinion. I just, maybe this is only me, that I always prefer the hard truth, right? And as an artist, you should strive for the same, because that's the only way to improve. Okay guys, I hope this was helpful, and see you next time. Ciao.